And welcome back to the Garage Gameday Sports Podcast. My name is Louie. I'm your host. We're talking the NBA playoffs today, specifically the Western Conference Finals, the top seeded Denver Nuggets, the 7th seed Los Angeles Lakers. We get the Joker versus LeBron for a ticket to the NBA Finals. We either get Jokic's first appearance in the Finals or we get LeBron's 11th appearance in the Finals. Would be unprecedented in this time of age. But first, go ahead and smash that subscribe, smash that like, drop us a comment, let us know what you think of the show. We're available on all the socials, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever you get your podcasts. Go ahead and give us a listen. Let us know what you think of the show. We appreciate all feedback from everyone. So let's go ahead and get started. NBA playoffs, Western Conference Finals, the Nuggets. We saw what they've done the first two rounds. They dispatched the Timberwolves in 5 games before taking it to the Suns. They jumped out to a 2-0 lead before putting away Phoenix in 6 games. They know how to start hot. The Nuggets definitely know how to start hot. They dominated their 2-game ones. They built leads in those series. They had a 3-0 lead against Minnesota and dropped one over there on the road. And then had a 2-0 lead on Phoenix. Phoenix tied it up, but then Denver put them away once the depth for Phoenix really started to show and the bench and rotation play for the Nuggets came through, and Jokic was just an animal, averaging nearly a 35-point triple-double in the conference semifinals. So Jokic definitely went Joker's wild in the second round, as he has been the entire playoffs. And they've been lights out at home. It's perfect 6-0 at home, 34-7 in the regular season. So you put that together, that makes a 40-7 record for the Nuggets at home. Extremely dangerous, extremely tough to play, and also deal with the altitude in Denver. So the Nuggets really showing out at home. The Lakers, we've seen what they've done, 4-2 over the Grizzlies. They dispatched Memphis in 6 games. Then they took it to the Warriors, beat them in 6. They followed the same formula, this same exact formula in their 2 series. They won Game 1, blown out in Game 2, or they won Game 1 by double digits in both, I believe. Blown out in Game 2, jumped out to 3-1 leads before dropping Game 5 in decisive fashion, and then wrapping things up at home in Game 6 in both series. Lakers, like Denver, 6-0 at home in the playoffs, so I don't know, something may have to give, but if all the home, well, that's true, if all the home teams win, maybe you don't buck that trend. But Denver would just take it in 7. So this is a rematch, of course, of the 2020 Western Finals. The bubble finals, if you remember. The Lakers dominated that series 4-1 before beating the Heat in the finals at Walt Disney World. LeBron and AD just dominated that matchup. The Nuggets never really had an answer for that. And the Joker wasn't quite the Joker yet. He wasn't the MVP final level boss that we see today. He was just ahead of that. He wasn't quite at his peak. And then, of course, you had little injury concerns. Murray, MPJ did play, but they weren't as effective. So you had the main cast, pretty much the exact main cast for both teams, but the supporting cast, the rotation's very, very different. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, a Laker back then, is now with the Nuggets, actually. And then you've got some new faces, Austin Reeves, Rui Hachimura, Dennis Schroeder with the Lakers. Aaron Gordon's with the Nuggets now. The aforementioned KCP, Bruce Brown. So you've got a lot of new faces on both teams, and then of course a new coach in Darvin Ham for the Lakers. So I want to talk LeBron real quick. This is his 12th conference finals in his career in 20 seasons. I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. I'm not going to pretend to be, but that's very impressive. No matter no matter how you slice it. Looking at it, his 20-year career, if you just look at it from an odds standpoint, 30 teams, there's 30 teams in the league, and the fact he's made it to the Final Four 12 times out of 20 seasons is remarkable, especially considering some of the teams he had in his early days, the Cavalier days, before the Big Three, and then it was a little easier with Miami, and then now with AD, he's rolling with AD. It's a little easier than those Cavalier days where he was just dragging guys to the finals. So, quite an accomplishment for LeBron. This would be his 12th conference finals, and if he were to get by the Nuggets, would be his 11th NBA finals. He has a 10-1 conference finals record, and the only loss came way back in 2009 to the Orlando Magic, the Dwight Howard-led Magic, that I think lost to the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken, in the finals that year. But just awesome career, just remarkable that LeBron's still able to do this. And I I don't think he's the number one option here. I think it's got to be AD. I've said it, round after round. It's got to start and end with Anthony Davis. They go as he goes. If he struggles, the team struggles. If he dominates, the Lakers more than likely win. So LeBron still driving, but AD's really the engine that makes the Lakers run. And running they are right now. Talking about Joker real quick. We said he leads all scorers, over 34 points in the conference semis. He was the leading scorer in that round, averaging nearly a triple-double. And when you just look at his size and speed and his passing ability, it just makes him very difficult to guard. Very hard. He occasionally likes to venture out, shoot the three, but he gets all his teammates involved. And when they're hitting, they're very dangerous and almost impossible to beat. Denver's just going to overwhelm you with their offense, with their shooting. That depth of theirs, Bruce Brown, KCP, you have Jamal Murray who can take over a game, Michael Porter Jr. that can give you 15 or 20 on a big night. So you've got a supporting cast there, and we saw it rear its head at Phoenix, because Phoenix, Booker, and Durant tried doing everything, especially after Chris Paul got hurt, and then DeAndre Ayton was a large no-show in that series. Booker and Durant were trying to combine for 75, 80 points, and even that wasn't enough. So, especially two scorers of that magnitude couldn't get the job done. So LeBron and AD need to involve their supporting cast, and those guys need to show up, and they have for the large part of the playoffs. They have. I'll give them credit. You've had Austin Reeves show out in one game. Rui Hachimura have a breakout game. Lonnie Walker bailed him out in a game. Schroeder's giving you some good minutes. So to have that is very important, especially this deep in the playoffs now. You've played anywhere between 12, 14 playoff games. You're going to need that, especially when games are coming boom, boom, boom every other night, and you may not be used to that. You may not be used to that from the regular season, where you could just kind of load manage, take it easy, preserve some minutes because we're saving for the playoffs. Now it's the playoffs. Everything's on the table, games every other night. So you need that bench production from your guys. And like I said, AD's just the straw that stirs the drink. When they struggle when he does not play well, and they win when he plays well. It's pretty basic. But the matchup I want to watch is AD versus Nikola Jokic, but with a caveat that it's AD and TBD versus Nikola Jokic, because I actually don't think Anthony Davis is going to be the primary defender on Jokic. You need AD to dominate in the paint on the offensive end. You can give up a little bit on the defensive end. You don't want to get Anthony Davis fatigued and or in foul trouble if he's having to shadow Jokic all game or the majority of the game. So I think some of his minutes are going to have to go elsewhere, but that's going to require LeBron and Reeves and Walker and Hachimura and those guys to pick up the slack on the scoring end, because you're going to have to sacrifice some minutes for AD to preserve him on the offensive end. But in those stretches, you're going to need guys to fill the void. So I think you could be seeing a Jared Vanderbilt defend him. You could be seeing Hachimura occasionally. Maybe even you dig deep into the bench and pull out Tristan Thompson, Mo Bamba, maybe even get a couple minutes just to absorb some of those minutes, maybe take some fouls and take some of that energy from Jokic and preserve AD on the offensive end, because you need AD to be a beast on the offensive end. We need to see that 30-point, 20-rebound performance or a 28-14, performance. And you're not going to be able to do that if he's going to be shadowing and jogging around and trying to battle Jokic on both ends of the court. You're going to have to preserve some so that way he gives you that offense that you need, because the Nuggets, like to score a lot of points. They score a lot of points. 110, 120 we've seen on several occasions in the playoffs, and they start off very fast. They start off very aggressive. We saw what they did in the Timberwolves series and in the Phoenix series. So the Lakers are going to have to match that intensity and set the tone early and hope to not fall in the hole that they can dig themselves out of. But yeah, I like that matchup. It intrigues me a lot between AD and whoever Darvin Ham's going to bring off the bench to counter Jokic and all that passing. And you've just got to account for him. And it's just almost like a black hole. He sucks everybody in. around him, and that opens things up for his shooters. So you've got to account for that, and I think that's going to be huge in this series. And if I'm looking for an X factor, I posted this on, this is going up on my Twitter a little later. An X factor, not counting LeBron, not counting AD, not counting Joker, not counting Jamal Murray. Everybody else is on the table. Okay. X factor for the series to me has to be Austin Reeves for the Lakers. We've seen what he's done. He's the third leading scorer in the playoffs for the Lakers. He's been a more than reliable option. I think he's averaging 14, 15 points a game. So you're going to need him to match that in this series, especially, if AD's numbers dip a little bit or LeBron's numbers dip a little bit. You're going to need that third option that the Nuggets have, because I think right now I would take Michael Porter Jr. over Austin Reeves slightly as a third option. If you're throwing the top two options from each team out and you're relying on everybody else, give me MPJ slightly over Austin Reeves, but that could change easily in this series. So I think Reeves can get it done. He can make some big shots, and he can help the Lakers on the offensive end overcome some deficiencies when AD's not on the floor. So all that said, and taking everything into account, my prediction for this series, I've been back and forth on this quite a bit actually, but I'm going to go Nuggets in 7. I like their depth, and I know they've not been here before. We haven't seen the Nuggets make the NBA Finals, and the Lakers have been there. They've been in the bubble, and even before that, the experience. Before that, they've made the Finals. But I just like the Nuggets' depth a little more here. I think they can make shots, and they can stay hot. We've seen a little bit of inconsistency from the Lakers. We've seen them win, but then get blown out. And win and get blown out, So we've seen that. We've seen the Grizzlies handle them in a Game 5 that the Lakers maybe weren't as focused. And the Grizzlies took it to them and blew them out. And then the Lakers with a 3-1 lead, they got a little comfortable. And then the Warriors jumped out and beat the brakes off of them in Game 5. I mean, the Lakers finished the series in both senses. But the Nuggets, this isn't a team you're going to want to do that to. And you definitely don't want to fall behind to Denver. And then another thing, I just like the home record. The 40-7 record across the regular season and the playoffs. Denver can win this in 7, drop all the road games, win all the home games, and they can take it in 7. I just find it hard, and Denver's capable of winning in LA too. I just find it more plausible for Denver to win a game in LA than LA having to win multiple games in Denver, because that's what it would take. They would need at least one, and if Denver took one in LA, the Lakers would need another one. I really don't see that happening with Denver as well as they've been playing, and then factoring in the altitude, the games every other day now, maybe LeBron and AD, those sore legs, I don't know, they may not be up for every game. So give me the Nuggets in 7, but regardless, I think it's going to be an awesome, awesome series. We're going to see some big names, big plays, a ton of points. Maybe a little defense, who knows. But give me the Nuggets in 7. We will be back tomorrow to talk Eastern Conference. And if you're wondering, I didn't address this at the beginning of the show. If you're wondering why I'm talking about the Western Conference Finals and I've got my San Antonio Spurs jersey on, it's because tonight is the draft lottery. I'm trying to put some good vibes out there for my Spurs. We're trying to win the Wemby sweepstakes, and maybe, just maybe, all that tanking was worth something. So, we're trying to win the Wemby sweepstakes, so I'm trying to put it out there to the basketball gods. Help the Spurs, because Pop is not. He's getting too old for this rebuilding stuff. So, and we're getting impatient. So hopefully, maybe Wemby, and if not Wemby, maybe one of the Thompson brothers or Scoot Henderson falls to us or something. But supporting my Spurs on a big night tonight. We'll see whose fortunes will turn around in the Wemby sweepstakes. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. We're previewing the Heat Celtics Eastern Conference Finals tomorrow. We'll see you guys. You guys have a good one.